Hey there. I wanted to clean up my layers and I figured I'd take you along and let you see how I do it. Let me turn you a little more. And I usually face this way, so it's going to be weird, but I'm going to try to use this and back you up a little more. Alright, so usually what I do is I figure out where my layers are and about how much I want off of them. So I don't want that much. Let me look in the mirror first and then I'll get back. Hang on just a second. Because I need a big view. Alright. So I just did this the other day, but really what I want to do is make sure it's even. So this is it from the side. And there is right up front, there's piece right there, and that's my guide. So I'm going to cut those off. So I hang over the sink, and I go cut, 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 cut. And cut. So now I have my center guide. It's so hard because y'all are so close, but yet I need you to be able to see. Maybe I can zoom in when I'm done. So now that whole center is my guide. So now I part it in the middle. And I part down, basically it's the part right about there. I do it in about 3 or 4 parts. And I do it based on where my ear is. So from like right the front of my finger forward is about what I take. It's not exact because, you know, you're doing it on your own head, so nothing is exact. So then what I do is I try to keep my hand perpendicular from my head. And I try to see where that shortest one is, which is right there. And then where my length is, which is right about up there. So you see that little piece right there? That's what we're going to cut off. Except I have to use the mirror. Because we don't want to cut our length. So we go from the shortest to the longest. So then our next section, I don't know, it's about somewhere back in there. It's a couple inches, however much a couple inches is back in there. And once again, we're going to do the same thing. Catch it with I was about to say fork, my comb. And I look till the hair falls off from the front. And then to where the end is up at the top. I'm going to cut that corner off right there. Then I do another section. I kind of make my sections overlap. So like I go in about 1 inch into that one section and then collect some of that. Now, this is where it gets a little tricky. Let me find it first in my big mirror. Found the shortest. Looking for the longest. So now, see that big old hunk? That's what I'm taking off. Evidently last time I did it, I didn't do a good job and I left some. So now I let that fall. And then coming to this section right there. And I'll do the same thing I've been doing all along. I catch it all between my fingers and I look for. Now, I did not go very far in the front earlier, or to the back earlier with that front piece. I got to get up close and see if I can find out where that piece is. All right, so it's right there. And then I bring it forward because I want to make sure I'm dropping the actual length of my hair. It's see, it's about that much. So now we're coming over here to the side again. And again, you want to find the shortest and longest. This side's a little easier because this is the hand that I always did it with when I was doing hair. And just that little bit right there. So now we have layers. So then what we used to do in school, or whenever I was doing hair, now remember this haircut's from the 90s. So I'd take a section, just take a section, and I'd pull it out. Now this I'm going to have to do in the mirror first, and then I'll show you. Because now what I'm doing, making sure it's even. Making sure there's no corners or weird things, like you cut off a little of that. So I just kind of go across. I'm looking for any extra long pieces that I've missed when I was doing it. And you'll know it because it'll just kind of stand out. You know, you measure from side to side, and is there a long piece in there? I find a big one, I'll show you. Yeah. Just take sections. It's not a big one, but that's a little one. Now, since I have curly hair, I don't worry as much about it being perfectly perfect. Now, the front, if I want the front to frame my face, this is where I do it from looking from the inside out. So if I want this to frame my face, which I did this the other day, I kind of pull it out and I kind of do the same kind of thing. I'm like, oh, there's a corner. And then I go over here, I do the same thing, pull it forward. I make sure hair has drops along the way. I see a spot that I did not get, so hold on. I'm about to stab myself in the face. What we used to do this. Can you see that little bit right in there? There we go. And then we rough it all up. And that's how I did my layers, how we did layers in the 90s. Now looking at it, my front is kind of heavy. So I do never thin my hair. My hair is too thin. But I do want to point cut it. And this is why, as a hairdresser, I used to get I used to cut my fingers all the time. Man, I used to do it all the time. Oh, hey, see something there. This is why it's good to go back and check and recheck. And oh, that's a big old jump. I want that. With curly hair, it's not as important. But when you wear it straight sometimes. So now I'm just going to go through and kind of check it all out. See, did I miss anything? Nah. See if anything stands out to me. Did I miss any big chunks? That's a little something, something. Let me see what that is. That's why when you're a hairdresser, you had your checks and balances for cutting one way and then checking the other way, because you could catch your mistakes. My best friend is my hairdresser, and she's not thrilled that I cut my own hair, but you know, what's she gonna do? Oh, that's a chunk I missed. What's she gonna do? She can't take my scissors away. I still got my license too, by George. Thing is, when you start cleaning out the lower side, one, it gets into your length, but also it thins out the bottom layers too. But, so if you want thin layers on the bottom, and you're okay with thin layers on the bottom, then it's okay to do what I'm doing now. I don't care. I just want it all cleaned up here. I'm still dropping the bottom length, which is why I'm confident in cutting these pieces. Now, if I was not dropping bottom length, the first bit was to get my top layers. Now, this bottom bit is I'm making sure things are blending as best as they can for having done it myself. Whee! So I just keep checking and rechecking and see what stands out. That's good. It's hard to tell. I'll check that again. Your sides you have to be really careful about when you're doing your sides, because when it comes to your sides, if you get too carried away, you get a hole right behind your ear. So you've got to watch that. But I think I'm good with that. I think I'm good with it. So now, there's my sink. Now I gotta scoop it all up, well, as much as I can. Baby wipe kind of helps pick up the dry pieces, because it's damp enough that it can kind of help pick them all up. There we go. And now you have, I think they're calling it the wolf cut now. Really, it's just short layers. So then you run your hands through it and you're like, do I feel anything weird? Though this side does feel a little something, but let me see. Nah. All right, so now let's do our hair. Hold on. Since my hair is mostly dry now, I can't go back and wear it curly. So I'm going to straighten it. I usually use some kind of just a regular conditioner, like hair conditioner. I use it as leave-in conditioner. And I use Silk Therapy and then some Silk Therapy BioSilk. And for a little texture, I bought this Wella 72. It's a curl shaper, but it adds texture, so I do it for the texture, not for the curl part. So, all right. So now I'm going to hang my head upside down and work this in. we're going to use my hair straightener thingy. This is how I use my straightener. I do it in sections. Did what my mama did. I'm down to 2 pills. Now, I mean, this is a bunch of pills. I take 2 different pills every day. 2 magnesium and 1 Zyrtec. So I just dumped them in here. They both look different. I know what they look like. So every morning, instead of my pill bottle with 2 different pills, that's a lot easier. So I'm down to just, because I decided to quit my Singular. I wanted to see, I've been on it like 15, 16 years. So I wanted to see, you know, is it even doing anything? And no, it's not, because I can't even tell the difference since I've gotten off of it. Coming along. Just work my way around. I just run my hands through it a little bit. And I use, let me find it, dry shampoo. Gives, even after you wash it, kind of helps. 1, it gives it a little texture. 2, it helps prevent oil and build up and stuff at the, I use it at the root. I don't do it whenever I do it curly, if I blow dry it, because you don't want to manipulate the hair much when it's curly. When it's straight, it's okay. So I want to kind of work all that spray into my roots. And then, got all my products right down here. I love my hairspray, but the only thing is it's really strong. So what happens is, gets a buildup of that spray all around the sprayer. So I usually have to get something metal and scrape it out. Thankfully I wear glasses, because many occasions I've gotten sprayed right in the face. I know I could dip it in hot water. But who's got time for that? Besides, this is so satisfying. Kind of like whenever you have necklaces that are tangled up, it's satisfying to untangle them. Got it. Just got to lift off a corner. There you go. Huh. Oh, if I went through all that and there's none in it, there's a little in it. So now I'll put a little spray in it. And then I'll use this to kind of tease it up just a little bit at the root. Not necessarily, I mean, it's teasing a little bit, but it's also separating it a little bit. I'm tell you, in the 90s, my hair in the 90s. If I could find a picture to show y'all, you talk about hair closer to Jesus. Here was my hair in 1993. Man, oh man, I had some serious hair in the 90s. I was in beauty school. So, there you go. Except this looks a little funny. I think, oh, hang on. I keep a pair of scissors right here. I think there's a little chunk right here and it's annoying me. Yep. Ow. Always watch where you put your scissors. That's better. Yeah. Well, this hairspray is getting put to rest. I shake it and there's not even anything in it. But it did me good. It did me good. So I'll get another one out. But there you go. So that's how I cut and style my hair when it's straight. When it's curly, I either air dry it or blow dry it with a diffuser. Okay, bye.